Investec is a diversified financial group with a large asset management business that's under Hendrik du Toit.
Exactly. Now that asset business has got about 150 billion pounds, which if you work backwards is about 2.5 trillion rand. Not a small sum of money.
Not a small sum of money.
Not as big as BlackRock.
Market cap here, 97 billion rand. It trades on a PE of 12.2, dividend yield 4.1%. Investec Asset Management. Of course, we're distilling just the asset manager.
Oh, we're just distilling. Okay, I thought we were
talking
about the whole
about
business.
the stock, which is the INPs and the INLs. That's how you get to the 97 billion. So it's fine. We're talking about the whole
thing, even the banking element.
Yeah, because Investec makes most of its money out of its specialist banking. I mean, yes, the asset management is a large part of it, but that's not really where they make most of their money from. But generally speaking, if you look at it as a stock in its entirety, it is diverse. It's not just asset management based. Yes, there's wealth management and there's specialistic banking, and you've got the exposure into 3 major countries: Australia, the UK, and South Africa. I know they're trying to wind down their legacy assets, which is a thorn in their side since 2007. But having a look at the face value of it, it is tough business out there. It's tough to do banking, it's tough to do wealth management and asset management, and it's not easy to do it in I wouldn't say a struggling economy, but an economy that's been hit by Brexit. You know, there's a lot of negative
UK
sentiment.
Exposure.
You know,
let's just have a look at the share price graph, and it's flatlining
it's
there.
At 100 rands a share, which is where it's been. This is the INLs, Investec Limited, I see there. So it was once at 115 or so, and it's sort of subsided. Many moons ago they had a share split, but this is the current level. 100 rands a share, that's what you pay for Investec at the moment.
Which is not bad, considering, as you say, it was the all-time high? What was the
all-time high was 115 in recent
115,
memory.
but
the all-time low was probably about 60 or something.
Yeah, I mean, they went through some very tough times, like all the banks did after the financial
actually
crisis.
Lower than that. You can see that it was well
You're looking at about closer to 40, essentially, at some stage.
Well, so, Nick, where do we stand with the investment opportunity here? Well, taking into account what you've just said about their diversification into these different LOBs.
I do like Investec's diversification. I do think they've done a lot. You know, I was really happy to buy stock at the early 80s, even the early 90s. At 100 rand, it's looking probably a bit more full value. But what was really interesting was when we had a look at Bernard Cantor with his zero cost collar, which is a very, very fancy way of saying, you know, take all my shares and protect the value. His personal shareholding, which has been whittled down over the years, he's still, you know, managed to have a look at putting a zero cost collar on 600,000 shares. And essentially what it meant, if you look at the figures, he doesn't expect
I'm glad
much
you're
to
going to unpack this.
So what I'll do is I'll pack it as in the sense that he has an exposure to Investec.
He's a non-executive director, one of the founders.
Yeah. So anyway, we can talk about that later. But the point is that 600,000 shares, he's put a zero cost collar, and essentially what it means is that at 100 rand, that's what he's feeling the stock will probably be by the year 2018 December. So anything below 100, it's okay. Anything above 100, it's fine as long as it sticks at about 100. So he doesn't feel the share's worth more than 100 over the next 18 months.
That's telling, isn't it?
And yeah, he's actually the MD, by the way.
I don't know, but he's also involved in horses and other things. Maybe he needed to put some money into
it's just protecting his value. Which is
look,
fine.
You've got to. I mean,
Where's
you've got
Stephen
to take
Kossov? Let's
cognizance.
get Stephen Kossov here and ask him if he's a seller at current levels.
Of what the management team is saying.
Exactly. You know, I mean, if you have a look, why, as one of the top end managers of this business, would I be concerned about the share price at 100 rand if I wanted to lock in my value at that level? And the same thing happened with MTN. You know, the top guys decided to lock in a zero cost collar at 200 rand a share, and look where the share price is today.
It's an interesting segue into another issue, because Stephen Kossov is approaching the end of his career, so there's a next generation potentially of leadership that's being considered, because those founders, those original founders, the Cantors, the Hermans, the Grolmans and so on, that started the business are all now very much in sort of run-off mode. So I wouldn't take that as being too indicative. I'd rather see what it is that Stephen is thinking with regard to succession at the top level in that business.
Hot or not?
Not at 100 rand, I'm not hot.
Not at 100 rand. Paul?
It's tricky because the UK has got a really uncertain outcome with the whole Brexit thing looking like it could potentially be a real mess. South African market's a bit weak. I think it hangs around here, so I'm also going to go not hot.
You're not hot.